I hear you. I hear you. My last thing is there any part of you that would love to see, in an ideal world, and Anthony Joshua try to make his way into the ring following this fight?
I'm not worried about that coward. The coward can barely got his titles back, let alone talking about stepping in the ring with the king. You know, so he's been out of the picture. Ain't nobody talking about him no more, so it ain't no need to bring him up. Right here, right now, February 22nd, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. Other than that, nobody else is in existence at this point in time.
Big man ting, smash a like button and subscribe. Wow. I always try and tell you, man, this dude has a phobia. Anthony the phobia Joshua. Anthony the phobianess Joshua. Wilder, he don't want to be nowhere near him. People think I'm joking. I have a PhD in psychological analysis, and in my PhD actually focused on, the subject was actually on Deontay Wilder, believe it or not. Yeah? My thesis was, how deep is Anthony Joshua, or is it possible for a man to be... I'm telling you, listen, you might take it as you want. I'm telling you my thesis now. Yeah? My PhD 2017 thesis was, is it possible for a man to be as deep in Deontay Wilder's head as Anthony Joshua is? That's what it was. That was the question I had to answer in my PhD. Bottom line. Yeah? Bottom line, that was the answer. And I'm telling you, I'm fixing to bring you the answer right now. The evidence is right in front of you. So, Wilder versus Fury 2, press conference call. Obviously, as we all know, what's everyone been wanting? In fact, never mind what's everyone been wanting. Up until December 7th, what has Wilder been wanting? In every interview from June 1st to December 7th, Wilder couldn't stop talking about, oh man, I want unification, baby. One face, one name, one champion. Oh yeah, well, if when Andy Ruiz, I believe Andy Ruiz gonna beat Anthony Joshua, and when he does, we gonna put Tyson Fury on the back burner. We gonna fight Andy Ruiz. That's what mine was saying. Couldn't stop talking at every interview, talking about how I've done a video on it the other day. No mention of Fury at all. He wanted Andy Ruiz badly, etc, etc. Couldn't stop talking about unification. Couldn't stop talking about one face. Oh man, one face, one name, one champion. 3, 5, 4, 4. I'm the king of the Englishman. All these goofy ass rhymes he comes up with. That's what he was saying. Now, how's that relevant? Well, 2 2s. Rightly so, bearing in mind that Fury and Wilder are the self-proclaimed number 1 and 2, even though they've only got one belt, one belt between them. But bearing in mind that's the fact, to be fair to them, one belt between them is better than none. So the fact they've got one belt between them, that puts them in the mix. That puts them in the unification mix. In fact, that makes them two the only individuals in the unification mix, does it not? Therefore, on a press conference call, and rightly so, an interviewer busts down and says to Wilder, yo Wilder, what do you think? Do you think AJ should pull up and stick it all over you in the ring? And what does Wilder say? Oh man, I don't think this is about Anthony Joshua doesn't exist. The only place Anthony Joshua exists is deep in my mind. I hope it's not real. Please don't, Anthony, please don't turn up and make all my fears a reality. Please, Anthony Joshua, don't turn up and put it on me in front of all my peoples like Tyson Fury did in 2015. Because, listen, if any of you was wondering, why is Wilder... Why? And like I said, these are the questions I like to answer in my PhD. Why? What makes Wilder so shook? Why wouldn't he, bearing in mind, never mind unification, just in terms of pure promotion, just in terms of pure WWE-ness, why would you not want your competitor there? Even if you had no intention of fighting him, why not have him there and get some PR boost? I'll tell you why. Cast your minds back to 2015. I can't remember. Wilder had just finished fighting some complete stiff that no one cares about again. And what happened then? Fury, who had just beat Vlad, I believe, was at the fight. He pulled up to the ring and stuck it so far. And honestly, you can watch it yourselves. You think I'm joking? You know me, I'm relatively neutral between Wilder and Fury. I've got no cat in that race. I've got no reason to lie. You can watch it yourself. Yeah? Wilder beat whoever it was, the random bum. Fury got in the ring and stuck it on him. What did Wilder do? No word of a lie. If you watch carefully, Wilder's bottom lip starts bojangling. His bottom lip starts wibbling. Oh, man, well, oh. Fury says to him, listen. Oh, Deontay Wilder, you're getting it. Oh, Deontay, I want you badly. I'm going to split your cheeks, Deontay. Oh, Deontay, I want you bad. You're getting his right hand right off your corn. He stuck it right on him. Yeah? He's there for you to listen to. Fury got in the ring and stuck it right on him. I want you badly. That's what he said to him. And what did Wilder say? Oh, man, I got a mandatory. Once I get my mandatory out the way, maybe we can, my manager Shadow Wrinkle, he already told y'all I'm a little baby. Why y'all turn up to my fight for and put it on me? That's what he said. Didn't want it. He was talking about Povetkin, talking about this, talking about that. I'm like, boss man, Povetkin's not the one in front of you. Fury's just pulled up and stuck it on you. What are you talking about mandatories for? Especially knowing, remember that Fury at that time was the champion. Especially, what's the point in talking about mandatories when we know unifications supersede mandatories? And that's the point is how that's relevant to this is that there is planted the seeds of why Wilder don't want AJ nowhere near the fight. He don't want AJ nowhere near the fight because he's got flashbacks of what happened to Fury, and that was just Fury, and that was just Wilder got shook. Wilder became speechless. Wilder's bottom lip started bojangling with Fury pulling up on him. What do you think is going to happen when AJ pulls up? And the crazy thing is, or the scary thing is for Wilder, not only will he feel physically inferior when AJ pulls up, he's also got to be scared that AJ might just teeth up his gal. You know what I mean? One of them ones, or one of them Stormzy ones. We already know that AJ came through and teethed up Stormzy's gal. The worst thing that Wilder's sitting there thinking, oh man, I'm not only going to be, AJ's going to put it on me, then he's going to take my girl. That's what he's thinking. Why else would he be so shook? Because let's be real now. Let's talk turkey now. Like, there's certain things people can and can't say, but when a man asks you about AJ, the unified champion, just won 12 rounds against a man who, in my opinion, Andy Ruiz would knock Wilder out. No joke. Yeah? Look at what Bermain Stavern. Look at the first Bermain Stavern fight. Bermain Stavern has no speed, no power, no nothing. No combinations. And look what he did to Wilder in that first fight. He took Wilder 50-50. Imagine, put Ruiz in that situation. Imagine what he would have done to Wilder, throwing 6 punches at once. He'd have finished him off in there. But anyway, the point is, AJ just won 12 rounds against Mr. Ruiz. Boxed his head clean off. Just broke the UK pay-per-view record. In fact, not only that, also broke the DAZN streaming record. So wait there, he boxes Ruiz's head clean off, your PBC campmate. He breaks the DAZN record, the US streaming record. He breaks the UK pay-per-view record. He sells out a record Saudi payday. In fact, probably the second highest payday in boxing, behind Floyd Mayweather and maybe Manny Pacquiao. So the third highest. Either way, whatever it was, it's up there. All these different feats he'd set, and you want to sit there and talk about it's not irrelevant. And the reason it's that point so important is, think about the psychology. What place does a man's mind have to be in, i.e. Wilder's? What dark and deep place does a man's mind have to be in, like Wilder's, who will, when asked about AJ, sit there and say he's not relevant? To lie that blatantly, you've got to be trying to avoid or cover up some serious, some serious, like, trauma there. Do you know what I mean? To cut that kind of question off, you've got to be patching up some serious deficiencies in your mental stability, in my opinion, in my humble PhD opinion. Have you not? Because most people would say, yeah, you know what, bring him there and I'll stick it on him, no problem. What is it about AJ? What is it about Wilder and AJ? And I'm glad that you asked that question, because I'm going to tell you it. And I've been the one trying to tell you this for the last year. In my PhD, I concluded, yeah, I made up this, not even made up, yeah, we designed this piece of, what's the word, this piece of deep research into the theory of closeness. And it's a bit like Conor McGregor and Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, towards the end, he didn't want to be anywhere near McGregor. McGregor was just too deeply in his head, and you saw the pent up anger that happened there. Aldo completely lost his head and got whipped, and that was it. But the point is, same with Wilder. Wilder don't want to be nowhere near Anthony Joshua, nowhere near him. Do you remember when AJ pulled up to the Breakfast Club in the US and said, "Yo, Wilder, I'm in New York." This was back last year when the $100 million DOESNT offer was going round. And AJ was begging to get that fight on. Begging for it. Please give me the fight. I'm the boogeyman. The boogeyman's here. Wilder silent. Nowhere to be found. Shelley Winkle silent. Eddie Hearn begging for an interview. Sorry, for a sit down. And the crazy thing is, I've got another video coming soon, another exclusive. Wilder himself even sits there and laughs and says during an interview, saying, "Oh man, Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, they begging for this fight, they desperate." That's what he said. Now, and the person, I'm not going to give away the interview because I don't want none of you goofy ass looking YouTubers to steal my exclusive content, but at the time the interview was laughing and whatnot. What's funny about that? Are you a fan of boxing, or are you a fan of sitting there and tickling Wilder's nutsack? Because that to me is not funny. It should never be funny, a unified champion having to beg to become undisputed. That's an embarrassment for the individual who's avoiding the baggage. AJ wants you badly, and you know it. And the fact that, and the whole world knows it. So what is it? What is this information saying about Wilder? He doesn't even want. He don't even dare talk about AJ. He doesn't even want to come into his mind. It's the last thing he wants. And I think at the moment what's going on is Wilder's in a very vulnerable situation. For example, for most of his career, or for the last 3 or 4 years, he's only had to deal with the fact that people like Dillian White, people like AJ are the ones who will come forward and stick it on him. And look how successful he's been at avoiding them. And why he's particularly vulnerable, why he shut down that interviewer so aggressively this time, was the fact that, what do we know? We've been hearing for the last few weeks that Mr. Fury has clocked on to Wilder's weakness. He's clocked on to what Wilder fears the most. Wilder fears a man not sitting at mid-range like Ortiz, smiling with his hands down, waiting to get chinned. He fears a man who goes in there and roughs and dings him around the ring like the blown-up cruiserweight he is. That's what he fears. And if you think I'm lying, explain to me why he's never fought Dillian White. We know Dillian White's going to go in there, chin down, and wail all over Wilder's 210-pound frame. Same as AJ. Same as Dubois. Same as Chisora. All these people he don't want. So now, he thought by selecting Fury it was going to be a wailing in the park like normal. Now his fragile mind has come to the realisation that, oops, I've selected a man in Fury who might not be as powerful as AJ and whoever else, but he's coming in there with that mentality. I'm not going to have the luxury of sitting at mid-range and doing nothing for 7 rounds and getting one shot off. I'm going to have a tough, long, gritty fight. And that's why he's particularly snappy. Because he feels like he's being attacked from all angles. He's got to deal with Fury. He's got to deal with interviewers asking him about AJ, the other nightmare. He's surrounded by nightmares. He's got Dillian Whyte closing in on him. Dillian Whyte litigation closing in on him. He can't see, there ain't no light for him. And the one piece of light he did have, the interviewer came along and just shut that out, bringing AJ up. And what I basically, let me convert, I know I played the interview at the start of this video, but let me convert what Wilder was really saying. Oh man, why do you have to bring up Anthony Joshua? He's the last thing I need on my mind now. I've got to deal with Tyson Fury coming forward and spitting my little cheeks. Oh man, why you gotta bring up Anthony Joshua all the time? Why have two black brothers got to fight all the time, man? Oh, why's it always gotta be me? I gave y'all Ortiz. I gave y'all Bermane Stiverne. I mean, let's get right as well. People can sit there and say I'm joking. We've heard him say this. Yeah? Before, in the past, when people have asked him about AJ, he'd said, in fact, I'm going to go back and replay some of them videos, because they're classics. When people have asked Wilder about AJ in the past, Wilder's come up with, oh, I've already given you Ortiz. I've given you Bermane Stiverne. I've given you Chris Arreola. What more do y'all want from me? These are the actual things he says. The man's lost his head. He actually feels like he actually believes he's accomplished. He believes what he's done in the sport is unparalleled. And that's why when it comes to these actual real names, he don't want none of them. None of them at all. Because think about it. If you're putting Bermane Stiverne, we've heard him do it. This isn't me saying this. We've heard him put people like Bermane Stiverne on a pedestal. We've heard him put people like Dominic Breazeale on a pedestal. Chris Arreola on a pedestal. If you put their men on a pedestal, where do you think you put people like AJ and Dillian Whyte? You put them on a level where you ain't never gonna fight them, as we know. And that's why this interviewer didn't even ask him about, oh, hey, Wilder, when you're gonna fight AJ. He asked him about AJ turning up to the to the fight. Oh man, it's nothing to do with Anthony Joshua. Why have y'all always got to bring my nightmare up, man? And there we go, that's the end of it. And if any of you out there listen to that question and hear Deontay Wilder's answer and conclude anything else than Anthony Joshua being deep in Deontay Wilder's mind, Anthony Joshua is Deontay Wilder's nightmare. That's just the way it is. And that's the only conclusion you can make. That was an irrational reaction, given the circumstances I've just explained.